Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the Yes We Can podcast. I'm your host, Kira Andersen. Today, I have an amazing woman on. Her name is Melissa Merlin. I met her through Pedal the Cause, which is an organization here in St. Louis that raises money for cancer research. She is on today to tell us about her story and journey navigating cancer in her family. So thank you for coming, Melissa.
I'm so delighted to be here. I told Kira this off camera. I've never done this before.
Yeah.
So we'll get started and we'll
I'm
see
surprised.
how it goes.
You guys are doing amazing big things.
You know what? We have our hands in a lot of different things, but this has not been one of them.
Wow. Well, here we go. Let's do it.
Awesome.
Okay, so first, Melissa, I like to, for my audience and viewers, kind of get to know you a little bit. Who are you? Where are you from? Tell us about your family, and then we'll kind of go into what you've been through.
Absolutely. So I'm from St. Louis. I went to Parkway North High School. That's always the question you get when you are from St. Louis.
It really is. And if people don't mention, people from St. Louis, if they don't mention their high school, I'm like, and where'd you go to high school, for all our viewers that are wondering?
And they will be wondering if you don't ask that question, so that's very smart to do. I was the oldest of three. My sister Lindsay, who we're going to talk about, my brother Matt, and then myself. And we, grew up in St. Louis, and I went off to school at Vanderbilt.
Okay. Oh, no big deal. Okay. What'd you study?
I studied anthropology, which everybody is always so surprised about, but it was just a passion that I had, and I loved kind of the primary professor who was working on studying cultural anthropology in Peru, and so I connected with him, and so that was my focus. I don't know if I use that now in my everyday life, but it was really intriguing.
So here's my question.
Yes.
How many of us actually use our degree? I mean, so I was marketing and sales, so perhaps I do, but you hear so much. And this is for you youngins that are in college right now, studying what you're studying. Absolutely follow your passion, but it's okay if you actually don't use your degree, because a lot of people don't.
Absolutely. You need to follow your passion. My daughter this week just made a commitment. She's a rising junior, but also a field hockey player.
Yeah.
So she just committed to college this week, and so has been thinking a lot about where her passions lie and what she wants to be when she grows up. But I told her, I still don't know what I want to be.
100%.
All grown up.
100%. And when you go to school, you're like, gosh, what am I going to choose? What am I going to do? And it's like, you know what? Just whatever you love, follow that passion. You can always go to graduate school and get more focused on whatever you really decide you do. And once you get in the work field, you may get into your field and realize, actually, this isn't what I want to do. I want to do something else.
Absolutely.
Right?
And you have to give yourself grace and the ability to make those big changes in life.
And because of what we've been through, it's almost like we can say to people, younger generations, like, life is short. You don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. So truly figure out what your calling and purpose is and your passion, what you love, and follow that.
100%.
Right?
And my story, and we'll get there, I did make a huge career change as a result of what we went through as a family with my sister. And it really caused me to rethink what I was doing. Not that I didn't love what I'm a lawyer by trade. Don't hold that against me. Hopefully,
no. My family, my whole family's attorneys, so I knew that about you. Good for you, but yeah.
And so that was really where I spent the bulk of my career. I graduated from Washington University Law School, for anybody listening in St. Louis, and then spent a couple years practicing in D.C. And moved back to St. Louis to get married to my husband, Rob.
And I want to talk about how you met Rob and who Rob is, but continue.
Yeah, he wasn't from St. Louis, but he actually was the one who wanted to live.
No kidding.
In St. Louis. He's from the East Coast, and he had zero desire to move back to New York. And he just loved St. Louis. We had this long distance romantic relationship when he was here and I was in D.C., and it was so fun.
How did you guys meet?
We met in law school. We actually both went to Vanderbilt, which was crazy, and we didn't know each other.
What? And then both went to law school at WashU.
And we both did. Now, he's 2 years older than me in school.
Yeah.
And so he did not love law school. It was like,
did you love it?
I did. I love studying. And it just ignited a passion in
Awesome.
me. But he was told he was an orientation leader.
Okay.
And he was told, that's where you take, the first years. He was a third-year law student.
Oh.
And you take the first-year students around.
Okay.
You are supposed to be helping them get acclimated to law school. And I guess they were short a person, so they needed a fill-in. So they asked Rob, but they told him, don't really speak to any first years because you don't really like law school that much, and we want to make a good impression.
So don't say a whole lot. That is hilarious.
Is that so funny?
That's so funny.
And so a friend, Supriya Kupaswamy from Vanderbilt, I thought he was cute. We were in the WashU.
Thought your husband was cute.
Yeah, I thought he was so cute.
Yeah.
And at the time, it was like where you would hang out, Anheuser-Busch Hall.
Okay.
It did not, I don't know if anybody's been there lately. Now it has like this beautiful pavilion where it's inside, it's all enclosed. At the time, it was outside, and you're kind of underneath the stars.
Oh my gosh, stop it.
So Supriya introduced us, and the rest is kind of history.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love
Supriya,
that so
thank
much.
you.
Yeah, so sweet. So wait, there's a hall called that Anheuser-Busch sponsored?
Oh,
Or
it's
paid
the law
for?
School.
Anheuser-Busch.
Yes. You always say that was always something very unique. People are very intrigued
This
by that.
town
fact.
is just ceases to amaze me. Really, the layers as I live here, as I peel back the layers of St. Louis, which is, yeah, it's just this town is hilarious.
It's amazing. I feel so grateful to live
Truly.
in St. Louis.
It's a really and something else that's unique about St. Louis. I hear this all the time. Men move for their wives who are from St. Louis.
Yes.
Okay, that's not normal.
It isn't. But once you get here, you love it so much. But in my case, it was the opposite.
Melissa, it blows my mind. Like, I've lived in many different places,
Yeah.
and we lived in Toronto, and the thing about the high school and the fact that so many transplants are men that have come to live for their wife, with their wives and their wives' families, it blows my mind.
So where are you from? I have to ask. I don't know if I'm allowed to ask.
You're allowed to
questions or
ask.
not.
You're allowed to ask. This is
Okay.
just a conversation, friendly conversation with you and I. So I'm originally from Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay, yes, born and raised. Then I actually went to Missouri State for college, which was very random. Basically, my dad drew a circle around the map and was like, pick your school within driving distance. And
Oh, he wanted to be close to you.
yeah, or they didn't want to pay for plane tickets.
We'll go with he wants to be close
Yeah,
to
let's
you.
go with that. Okay, love you, Dad. So Springfield was about 6 hours south of Omaha.
Okay.
I had some friends that had gone there, and friends that were going from Omaha, and so I'm like, that's what I want to do. Plus, I hate being cold.
So is it that much warmer?
Okay, yes, ish. Well, I mean, unless it was either that or my dad wanted me to go to school in Minnesota where they went to school.
Okay, well, I'll give you it's definitely warmer than Minnesota.
And I wasn't going to say Nebraska because I needed to get, so I'm like, as far south as I can go. I know people look at me, they're like, that's ridiculous. I'm like, it's not. I had a great college career at Missouri State, was involved in everything, made amazing friends, was on the board of everything, accelerated graduate program, all the things. So then I moved to California and worked in California in my 20s.
See, I see you as a California girl. If I had to make my guess, that's
Okay,
would be
so
my guess.
I feel like I grew up in California. So I moved there in my 20s, as an adult. You know what I mean? I became who I am. I moved out there when I was 22. Okay, and worked this career with this pharmaceutical, a dermatology company. I have amazing friends out there. Fell in love with California. Ran all up and down the coast. I became who I am. So I still have a California cell phone number because I won't let it go.
You can't lose that. Is it 301?
Mine's 408.
Okay.
Yeah.
My sister had one. She would not give it up ever.
LA.
LA all the way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I just took my kids there. We started in Southern California because I have family in San Diego. And we drove up the coast to San Francisco. And it's we did that trip last year. And it's I'm taking my kids back to California so they can know where I
Your
grew up.
your adulthood.
Totally.
You grew up as an adult.
Yes. And then we just got home last night from Montana. So I took them back to where Kyle's from because I'm I want them to know where the roots are. And of course we go back to Nebraska and, they definitely know Nebraska. But anyway.
I think it's so important though. I'm changing a little bit the topic, but we were talking a little bit before we got started about how you've really worked hard. Mm-hmm. and keeping that family relationship and talking about Kyle all the time. I've always been really impressed.
Oh, thank you, Melissa.
By how you honor him as a dad, as a husband, as a partner, as a friend. And I think that's so important when you lose somebody. Like, I think you have to keep talking about them.
Yes.
And
saying their name.
their story.
Yes.
And when my mom also died of cancer when I was 12. She was diagnosed when I was 10.
Oh, my gosh.
And
bless your heart. What was she diagnosed with?
Lung cancer, just like my sister.
Oh, my gosh. You're kidding me.
And I was like, as a 10-year-old, I don't think I had the skills to really cope with it or even talk about it. I was like, I don't want to say embarrassed, but it was just something that like I didn't allow myself to deal with,
of course,
as a child. And at the time, and I'm sure she had a team around her giving her advice, but my life was allowed to carry on in exactly the same way.
Yeah.
Even though she was going through the most traumatic experience, and in the 80s, it was almost barbaric.
Really? Well, let me ask real quick.
Yes.
How did you, this is a perfect segue to what we really want to, we want to talk about all of it, but so how old was she? How did you find out? Like, how did all that happen?
So she was 46 years old and kind of in the prime. We understand this as mothers.
Yes.
Like, she had 3 young children. She was all the things. She was a professor at University of Missouri, St. Louis. Really, her field of study, she started, in the late 60s, early 70s, was about women's liberation and assertiveness. Before it was about, like, now I feel like there's like kind of like a mixed feeling about that. But at that period of time, like, it was so cool. And she was the first woman to do a job share there, once she started having children. And she was really helping women become professionals, because women were not professionals back then. And so that was her career path. And she's always been an inspiration to me, even as a young child, that you can kind of have it all and do it all. We all know that sometimes that doesn't go exactly.
That's life. That's life.
It doesn't necessarily look pretty all the time.
So this is all making sense. Knowing you now, this is all making sense. And what was your mom's name? Sharon. So I want to talk about that briefly, and then let's continue. But as you were alluding to earlier, keeping those who have passed, their names spoken, it's just because they pass on, their legacy lives on. And for those of us, those family members and loved ones, like, yes, let's keep talking about them. Please ask about them. Say their names.
And it's scary. I do think it's scary with a friend or a relative.
Because they don't know how you're going to react or if it's going to trigger you.
Yes. And different people react differently.
Totally.
So it's not a blanket statement. But
100%.
I do think I really value my friends who continue to talk about my sister in particular and bring her up, and we laugh. And it's a way of keeping them alive. And I think particularly for young kids, like, you have, like, your memories, it's really sad when I say this, your memories become what you see in pictures.
Yeah. True.
And the stories that you were told.
Yes.
That's how you remember your parent. That's how I remember my mom. Like, I have like little tidbits in my mind, but it's really from my dad and my family, and, even colleagues and friends of hers who still to this day will talk about her or something that happened. And it's just, it brings such warmth. So, we have to do that.
100%. I truly believe that. And it's interesting you say that, because someone had mentioned to me that they were going to, another widow, they were going to have their late husband's friends and family write stories about their upbringing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I want that. And so this last trip, I actually sent a message to his family and his best friends, Kyle's. said, will you guys write down stories or even record them? Nowadays, record them.
Yeah.
And they can ChatGPT or whatever those AI devices, apps will literally transcribe it.
Yeah. Amazing.
Right? How easy is that? Yeah. So his friends had started to do that. And luckily, his family is really great about telling stories. And his mom did an awesome job of taking pictures, writing notes. So we just went through his older sister, Christy. She had 2 albums that we went through this last week. Kyle's baby album, and my kids learned, all these things about Kyle. When he lost his first tooth, they got to see and feel his first tooth, his first haircut. His mom did such a good job. And all these pictures of Kyle, so happy. And like, you can see that their upbringing when they were little was really joyous. And
100%. And it's such a gift to them.
Right.
It's like a gift to your family.
Yes.
Kyle's mom, to be able to piece that together. Just
yes.
absolutely amazing. And there's a mom can do something special
yes.
that nobody else in this world can do,
Correct.
as we all know. And so the kids will always forever treasure that.
Yes.
And it's so amazing that you're doing that and making those connections and thinking about that, because it also over time can get lost,
right?
If you're not
intentional and keep talking about him. And I want my kids to know their dad because they were so little.
They were babies.
Yeah. So 4 to 11 months when he was diagnosed, and then he made it. He battled 17 months. So they were little babies, right?
So but it's like at least they don't have the recollection maybe of that battle, because that is such.
I know.
A tough
period
of time
yes.
that it's almost better they were so little, so that's not what is stuck
in their head. And I think about that. There's this hole in my heart because I think about how little they were and how our focus had to go from, it had to be I had to be, raising these children in a loving, safe, healthy environment, and keeping their dad alive. And so I think about that period of time where we had, we were at the hospital, chemo treatments, all the things. We were gone a lot during those 17 months. Kyle would spend weeks in the hospital. I don't even know how many times we were in the hospital. And we had to go to chemo every week, and doctor's appointments, and blood transfusions, and all the things. And I'm like, we weren't home.
And you, as the mom, as the spouse, are the rock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was hard
in all of that. And when you get home, I can imagine that you had to then turn around and be a mom.
Yeah.
And try to put on, as cheery of a disposition as you could in the worst of circumstance. I can't even imagine.
Well, it's like my brain, you go into fight or flight mode, right? And, it was hard. I look back and I'm like, honestly, I don't know how I did it. It was through the grace of God, because I also had to be, uplifting and cheerful for Kyle and provide hope for him and let him know, we are not going to stop. We are going to keep fighting. You are going to live. And that was the mentality we had from the very beginning. So I had to help him along the way, because he was a hypochondriac even before he got sick. Okay. So then he gets, yeah, legit. His family joked he's already beat all these other diseases, jokingly, and, so then when he got cancer, even on the way to the hospital, he's like, do you think I have stomach cancer? I'm like, gosh, no, you don't have stomach cancer. You're allergic to dairy or gluten or whatever,
right.
And then it was stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And so mentally it was very difficult for him, because we got married late. We both had, careers. We had children. God gave them to us. Boom, boom, boom. Mm-hmm. We had this whole beautiful life we had planned out ahead of us. And now all of a sudden he has terminal cancer.
It's something that, at least in my experience, it's not even within of all the things you worry about. Mm-hmm. Pancreatic cancer was not
on your radar.
Was not one of the things that even would cross your mind as a potential.
No. Mm-mm. Well, and crazy story, but we need to get back to you. But one of my girlfriends, Joanna Hayden, she beat stage 3 colorectal cancer, which, sorry, I just said that, Joanna, because she just started her therapy. She's a therapist now, and she just started her practice. But Amazing. She beat colorectal cancer, stage 3. And we were at her like no more cancer party. And her husband stood up. They're attorneys too, by the way, and they met in law school. Fun fact. Her husband, Caleb, stood up and said, I want to thank everybody for being a part of Joe's army. We got through this, and just know we'll be there when one of you gets cancer, because 1 in 2 people will be affected in their lifetime. And Melissa, I remember looking around the room and being like, I wonder who of these people is going to get cancer. And Kyle was sitting next to me, and not once did I think, maybe it's one of us.
Right. No, it is. I think that's so true. I mean, even back, I remember, kind of going back to my mom in the 1980s.
Yeah.
She had to go in, and this was a woman who never stopped. Never, like all of us. But
familiar with that, yes.
We're very familiar with us. But, she was working, but then she was doing all the things as a mom and, doing the PTA and all the things. She always had wearing a million hats and doing them all, at 110%. And she had this cough. And it went on, and as things go, everybody would say to her, I remember my dad, you need to go get this checked out. But she was so busy, with life and her kids and her career and all the things. And so finally she went to her doctor and was told she needed to go to the hospital so they could run a battery of tests. And at that time, they were thinking, maybe pneumonia.
That's where my mind went.
Yeah. And never, ever, ever what my parents called the big C. That was not even...
And she wasn't a smoker?
Never a smoker. That's a myth about... I mean, we do know a lot of cases of lung cancer come from smoking, but those have dramatically gone down as people have very smartly stopped smoking.
Yeah, do not smoke.
Do not smoke.
No smoking allowed.
But there is a stigma attached to lung cancer because so many people associate it with smoking and the fact that you can control whether you smoke or not. My mom never smoked a day in her life, nor did my sister. And so I remember her being in the hospital, and they're trying to figure out what this is. And when she finally came home at the end of the week, my parents sat myself down and my brother, my sister Lindsay was little then. She was like 4 years old, like similar to your kid, like just so little.
Lindsay was younger than you.
Yeah, Lindsay's the youngest. Lindsay's our baby.
Okay.
Always been our baby.
Okay.
And said that she had the big C. And I didn't even know what the big C
was.
And then we talked about cancer. And again, it's exactly what you're describing. It's like, it feels like it's a disease that happens to somebody else.
Correct.
Until it happens to you. And so that was kind of the beginning of our journey. And similar to Kyle, unfortunately, there was not modern technology. It was actually really crude how they did it back in the day. She had a wonderful, wonderful doctor. This is before Siteman.
I was going to say, was it? I don't know.
It's pre-Siteman.
Okay.
But, the way they used to do the radiation is they literally would mark an X on your chest, like just a big X, and that's where they would radiate. So the radiation, made her so sick. But she would... every day, even though she may be in bed, the entire day. When we came home from school, she was always had herself put together and, continue to allow the three of us to live this beautiful life that she and my dad had created for us, even though she was going through this horrible trauma. And she never ended up doing chemo. And I don't know, this is from a child's perspective, not from an adult perspective.
Right, and what you know now.
And what I know now. But it was really all about radiation for 2 years.
Now, had it spread, or was it just in...
It was just in her lungs.
Okay. Both lungs?
I don't know. Okay. I don't know the answer to that question. It was, as I reflect back, maybe we should have talked a little more. As I was saying, I was allowed to continue on with my charmed life. And I don't know if that, I don't know if that's the right way to handle it or not. As I reflect back, I think you have to, be appropriate for the kids' ages. But I do think it's important when they're ready for them to fully understand what is going on.
Absolutely. I think, and that's for all of us to be able to talk about something that helps you process and understand. The more you know, the better you're going to be able to cope and grieve. Because, you start the grieving process the moment you hear that word, really.
I agree.
Because life as you know it now will be changed forever.
It ends. But a new life begins in a different way.
Correct.
I know we're going to get there.
We will get there. But whether or not that battle continues or for how long, or whether they end up no evidence of disease or not, it changes not only that person, but that family, and then the ripple effect, no matter what.
Yeah, I agree. And it's one of those few diagnoses that's like that.
Agreed.
So
yeah. So how long did she battle?
For 2 years.
Okay.
And so I was 12 years old when we buried her.
Oh my gosh.
And my sister was only 6. Just like a little, it's heartbreaking. And as a mother, it becomes even more heartbreaking when you understand and see your own kids and think about what they're going through at a particular age, to think, how do you not have a support system, and not have your mom, and that almost every day touches me with my own kids.
I'm sure. And how was your dad throughout this what?
My dad was a rock. I just lost my dad in November.
Oh, no, Melissa, I'm so sorry.
He was 95 years old, so we were very lucky to
a
have
great
him.
Life. Yes.
And he was around Pedal a lot. He's a huge supporter of Pedal the Cause. And the Spin Zone, that's named after my sister, Lindsay Spin Zone, was actually his idea.
I love that.
And so how was he? He was a typical dad in the 80s.
Yeah.
I don't know. He was running his law practice. He was trying to
he was an attorney too.
Oh, yeah. We come from hopefully, you're not going to hold this against me. The audience won't hold it against me.
Trust me. I come from attorneys, like all my parents. Trust me. I'm there with you.
But he was a character. He had, it was all plaintiff's trial work that he did. And he, his life was the practice of law. But how did he deal? I don't know. And Dad, hopefully you're not mad at me that I'm saying this in a public forum. He would probably say this. I don't know if he was the most supportive husband. Certainly not what you were doing, Kira. But, he, I think, was coping and managing.
To the best of his ability.
Correct.
No
and
question.
Everybody reacts so differently.
Yes.
And there's no one formula, one prescription for how to act or for how to be or what you need to do to surround this person or yourself with love in the most devastating situation. Correct.
And he was supportive probably in how he knew how to be. So he probably continued to work. So that was him being supportive. And a lot of men, especially back in the day, weren't allowed to express their emotions.
So
right?
true.
Or talk about them or any of that, right? No one was going to therapy back then.
So true.
And a lot of our generations before us didn't talk about things. They swept it under the rug. Right?
100%. And work is a way to pour yourself into something else and as a coping strategy.
Yes.
And so we muddled through it. I actually think my dad, after my mom passed away, became a much better dad, if that made sense.
Yeah.
He was much more even though she was the one doing all this assertiveness training, I feel like they had more of a traditional relationship. He always encouraged her to work and to be educated.
If she wanted to, right?
And
follow her passion.
100%. Because back in the day, that wasn't the norm. And so to be encouraging of that was, somewhat unusual. And so he was really supportive of her in that way,
Love that.
as well as my sister and myself. There was never any doubt that he wanted us to be the best versions of ourselves, that involved a career, whatever that involved. But he was always, a supporter of women in particular, and his daughters and his wife.
That is amazing. What a great example for you all to see. Right?
It really was cool now that I reflect back on it.
A husband that's encouraging their wife to go, and it sounds like she's spearheaded, some really amazing things for women that have now, those of us that have come behind her, that are a little bit more assertive.
100%.
And marry the career and, which my therapist taught me about the word, and
that's an important word.
It is an important word, right?
Yes.
You can be career focused and have your family.
100%.
And be a loving mom. But it's so good. And everyone has different opinions about this, but I think it's great for your kids to see their parents, mom or dad or whomever, following their passion.
And Kira, I 150% agree, because these kids are watching us. They're watching.
They do more.
What we're doing,
100%.
how we're treating other people.
More of what we do than what we say.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think that's super important, because there are a lot of moms out there that, feel bad, feel guilty for following their career. And it's like, this is a different day and age. It really is.
It really is. And I also think that you have different stages in your life. Mm-hmm. Like there can be a stage in your life, like when you're out in California.
Yeah.
In particular, where it was before you had Kyle, before the family, where you're 100% focused on the career and pursuing that side of yourself. And then things change.
No question.
And you make adjustments. And another part of your life may be more focused on family or trying, a balance of both.
Yes.
And you have to let that work itself out. You don't always have to be just one dimensional or one thing, and it changes as you, I don't want to say age, as you mature. I just had my 50th birthday too, so as you mature.
You look nowhere near that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Happy birthday. When was your birthday?
June 15th.
Oh my gosh. So my younger daughter is June 11th, and Cora, my oldest, just turned 9, June 21st.
Okay, so you have one Gemini. And what's the
Cancer. And
she's
she's so funny because she was born at 11:59 on June 21st. Like, she really wanted to be a summer solstice baby.
Yeah, clearly.
But yes, I totally agree. And I think too, there are some moms that don't pursue their career or passion because they feel bad and they want to, they think they need to be just home, just with the kids. It's like, no, in today's age, you can do both.
You can do both. Or you don't.
Correct.
Or you take some time and you're with your family, and then you go figure out what your passion is once you feel like they're in a good place.
Yes.
So
and living in
there's
that.
many paths.
Totally. And like you said, chapters in your life, like I had my California chapter. Yeah. I had my having babies chapter. All it's and they close and a new chapter starts, and it's beautiful and amazing, and the opportunities to come. And something that I realized going through all this was that I'm actually not in control.
100%, yes.
Okay. And realizing that, and like, I believe in God, I'm a Christian, and I do have a strong faith, and I remember thinking, okay, God, like, I can't do this. And really, Jesus, take the wheel, right? Like, they're in charge truly. And once I did that, I said that to myself, and I thought, okay, actually, he's in control. It was this huge burden lifted. And all of a sudden, all these things are happening, and it's actually not me. These doors are opening, and things are smoother, and I'm less stressed, and life is unfolding in a beautiful way. And it's not me.
I totally understand, and I can relate to that, but I also do think, knowing you the little bit I do, that you've made a lot of opportunities for yourself, and so I want you to take credit for that.
Well,
what you have done is, I know you through Pedal the Cause and all the work that you've done to try to carry on Kyle's legacy, and the incredible amount of money that you have raised.
Thank you.
That is right here in St. Louis, funding cutting edge research and clinical trials. And I think that I want you to take credit for that, because there's a lot of credit that is due there.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. And you also have done the same thing, and I want to talk more about that. But I believe God like he gave me these God winks along the way. Like I look back and I'm like, okay, that's why I was in medical sales for 10 years. Like the connections there, like he's been in control the whole time, and he's the one that's opened the doors. And I've just said, yes, 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 yes. And I feel like he put the burning desire in my heart. And I truly feel like the passion in my calling, like all of this is happening for a reason. And our sacrifice of Kyle is hopefully, it's saving the lives of others.
It really is.
And right, we're all brought to this earth. We all have a purpose. And perhaps this is just our purpose. And so I go with that. I believe it. And he's the one that connected all these dots. I couldn't have done any of that. Like, you can't make up the coincidences, which I don't believe in coincidences, that have happened to get us to this point. You just can't.
I agree.
So I truly, like, God's in control. I'm just saying yes.
Yeah.
But I do want to go back to you. So your mother passed. Did your dad get remarried?
Never.
Okay.
And again, I don't know, as you reflect back, he's no longer with us. Was that a good decision or a bad decision? It was his decision because he felt like his focus should be on his children. I don't know, as I watched him, and he was always with us, with Rob and I and my brother Matt, with everything. He's like our third wheel.
I love
it. Not a third wheel.
Yeah.
But we were kind of his partner.
Yeah.
Like, if his kids were his partner, including my sister Lindsay. They had the closest of relationships.
I love that.
And so I don't know. Should he have gotten married? Would that have brought a different joy to him? I don't know. I guess
we'll never know.
We'll never know. But no, he didn't get married.
So did you have? And it's interesting. A lot of widowers get married quickly. So I have a girlfriend who started Never Alone Widows, which is the Christian widows organization I'm involved in. She and her husband, who's also a widower, were thinking about creating a dating app for widows and widowers. But she said, we don't know, because widowers get married. There's so many more widows than there are widowers, which widow is a female, widowers is a male. Yeah, a lot of people don't. Yeah, I didn't even know. Yeah. So widowers is a male. A lot of times they get married really quickly. There aren't a lot of widowers.
Interesting.
I know,
Why do you think that is?
Because they want that. They've been taken care of.
Yeah.
They've been taken care of, and I don't know, right? I really don't know. But it's interesting that your dad chose a different path. But what a gift to you and your children that he was there and present, and for him to be, I think I know that when grandparents are involved in children's lives, it reduces, studies show it reduces anxiety, depression. It helps with mental health for both the kids and the grandparents.
It's such a gift. I mean,
Truly.
That relationship is really special. And they're just, unfortunately in today's society, oftentimes you're disconnected from that extended
Yeah, there's no
family,
longer the village.
Right. And I do think allowing that relationship to be nurtured, and like how you just went out to Montana, physically making that happen and keeping that connection alive is so important.
It's invaluable.
We were lucky that my dad had lots of time to spend with us.
And I love that.
He was always with us and with the kids, and really family. He always had family first. This is a little off topic, but we had a video. He had done kind of a documentary style interview like a couple months before he passed away.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
And the filmmaker was able to put together a little clip for his service, which is so unorthodox. Like, we played after, the rabbis did their thing and we all said what we wanted to say. The closing remarks, the closing statement, like if you're a lawyer, you have my dad had a closing statement. He did his own closing statement. And it was just so amazing because it was so uniquely him.
Yeah.
But he talked about the importance of family first, family above everything else. And that's truly what he believed and what we believe and what you all like. It's just that is the most important thing.
Is that available to watch publicly? I feel like I want to watch it. Is it on YouTube?
I don't know if it's on YouTube. It's on my computer.
Okay. I love that.
It was really, I know it's an unusual thing to do, but it is like, I couldn't stop crying, stop watching it, because it just, oftentimes you don't get a chance to speak to your family and friends
after you've passed.
Yeah, it was, and it wasn't like cheesy or weird.
Right. Oh, I don't feel good no matter what. I think it's a beautiful gift, like you keep saying. And the other thing too is for those of you that maybe don't have a close knit, blood family, like I believe that family is, yes, it's your, parents and grandparents and all that, but some people are estranged from their families or, for whatever reason. And you can also choose your family. I feel like God puts people in your life, friends that are like family, and it's family is a broad term, but I agree.
Absolutely. And I think that's an important part, because I can think of some of those friends and friendships in our lives, that take on much more of almost like a familial relationship.
Absolutely. Which
so
is
100%. It doesn't have to be necessarily blood,
right,
but it has to be this close network that supports you no matter what.
And loves you unconditionally.
In the darkest hour.
Yes.
You may have your disagreements.
Of course. Everybody does.
But you get past them.
Right. Right. Oh my gosh. So beautiful. Okay. So now can we transition and talk about Lindsay, talk about her life, her upbringing, similar to yours, but just who she was and all of that.
So she was a California girl, born in Missouri, born in the Midwest.
Girl.
But a California girl.
I love that.
At heart. She did her undergrad at Mizzou.
Okay.
In psychology, but then went out to Pepperdine.
Oh my gosh.
One of those beautiful places.
Oh my, we just drove by Pepperdine. I took my kids to California a couple weeks ago. We drove by Pepperdine. I'm like, California has some really amazing schools, kids.
Yeah, I may be nudging that one a lot.
Yeah.
And a better climate than the East Coast and the Midwest.
Yeah, there's a lot of positives. Yes, absolutely.
So she went out to California and got her master's in psychology.
Good for her.
At Pepperdine, and then was living out there and was kind of, living the California dream.
I love that. So she lived in Southern California.
Yeah, she lived in Southern California, and she looked like a Southern California girl, too.
I love that.
She had this beautiful, long, blonde hair. It took a lot of maintenance, though. This was back in the day before. There was a lot of maintenance. Like, she and her friends used to be the ones, like, usually be the older sister helping the younger sister. It was actually the opposite in my household. Like, she would help me get ready.
I love that.
Her friends would put makeup, do my makeup, do my hair.
I love it.
But Lindsay loved her hair. There's a lot of product, a lot of time spent on her hair.
I love that.
My daughter would appreciate that.
I love that.
And so that, is kind of where she, her early adulthood was. She spent a little time in Chicago. But, she was living her life. She never got married.
Okay.
But she, just always to our family brought such happiness and joy. She was like our light. She was always fun. Like, I was the more serious one. Like,
Vanderbilt attorney, married an attorney. Yeah.
She was like the fun light one, is how I would describe my sister. And smart. You wouldn't necessarily think that.
Well, she went to Pepperdine.
So, went to Pepperdine.
You have to have a certain level of intelligence to get in.
Yeah, very, very true.
And graduate.
And graduate.
Yeah.
And but she always brought a smile to our face.
I love that.
To the whole family. Yeah. She was just a joyful person.
Love that.
And during COVID, this was right. Do you remember how weird it was when COVID started and the lockdown was happening and nobody knew what was going on?
Yeah.
And we were supposed to be in Europe, but we decided, we couldn't go. They had shut borders down. So we were going to drive to outside of Nashville to a little farm.
Okay, so kind of like Europe.
They kind of like Europe.
Or not.
And we were trying to, it was Blackberry Farm.
Yeah. So we've been.
Yeah, it's so nice. It's great.
Gorgeous. We went a few times. Yeah.
Oh, you've been a few times. I want to go
We saw Glennon Doyle speak there with, what's her wife's name? The soccer player? I can't believe I'm blanking. I hope they don't watch this. Anyway, it was awesome. We got to talk to him and meet him. Abby Wambach.
Okay, yeah.
The soccer player.
Yeah.
She was US, whatever. But we love Blackberry Farm.
It's such a special place. So we were trying to get Lindsay to come with us because everything was kind of shutting down.
Yeah.
And she just said she wasn't feeling well.
Now, how old was she at this point?
She was 38 years old.
And what was she doing for her career?
She was working in psychology.
Okay, in Southern California.
And she had, at that moment in time, she had moved to Chicago.
Oh, okay.
And so she just wasn't feeling 100%. And this is March of 2020. And then we kind of didn't think anything of, things were just kind of crazy at that point in time. And then she was in St. Louis for a little bit, during COVID, and then had moved down. At the time, my dad had a home in Coral Gables. So she had gone down to Coral Gables to kind of, so many did, get out of the cold and live in the sun, during this lockdown period. In Florida, unlike in Missouri, was much more free and fancy.
Right.
And so you could have much more of a life and be outdoors. Right. And it was just a nicer environment to be in.
Yeah.
So she was down, so now we're into the fall of 2020. And she was living in Coral Gables, and we were here. And we hadn't she had been in St. Louis a little bit, but we weren't traveling a ton still at that point in time. Right. So we hadn't seen her, maybe in a month or two. And we get kind of an urgent call from her that something's dramatically wrong, that she had gone to SoulCycle. She loved to spin.
I love this.
And so
Lindsay, I feel like Lindsay and I would have been really
you
close.
Would have been really, you would
I
love,
feel like
love,
she
love
would have been
Lindsay.
my BFF. Okay.
And you had to wear masks to your, because this is right up your alley. And so you're trying to work out in a mask, which is not a comfortable thing to do at all. And so she was short of breath. So again, we're a little dismissive of this, thinking, okay, you hadn't been working out as regularly, you hadn't really done a SoulCycle class, and certainly you had not done a SoulCycle class in a mask.
Right.
And so that was maybe on a Monday. And then as the week progressed, she kept feeling worse and worse and worse.
Maybe it's COVID. Were you thinking maybe it's COVID?
Of course. The last thing I was thinking was cancer.
Correct. Even though you had lost your mom?
Maybe I should have, now in hindsight, maybe I should have been thinking
no, your brain is, no, you can't, you can't should on yourself, right?
So we're just thinking, we have no idea what's going on. So then on Halloween, she checked herself into just the hospital, how they do a triage, you go through the emergency room.
On Halloween, you said?
Yeah, on Halloween.
Of 2020. Okay.
Of 2020. And we got a call from her, you need to get down here right now. And so Rob, my husband, got on the next plane. And by the time he had landed, they had found all these brain tumors.
Brain?
Brain.
Oh, my gosh.
And again, we still don't know malignant, not malignant. We just know there are a lot of tumors.
Right. Can you explain malignant to those that may...
Malignant means cancer. Non-malignant can still be not good, but it's non-cancerous. And so Rob lands... and I actually don't remember exactly how this worked out, but for some reason I had given my daughter... had at her school some sort of Halloween celebration. So they didn't have a way to play music in the classroom, so I'd given her my phone. So they couldn't reach me.
Oh my gosh,
that was the point. It's I didn't have a phone. They're trying to call me because the phone is at community school.
Oh my goodness.
So anyway, that's when we learn, that it's malignant. They couldn't even get an exact, in the 20s count of how many tumors are in her brain.
So they did a scan, or how did they, you know what I mean?
There was a scan done, and I guess because she was having headaches and some symptoms, they scanned her head as well.
Well, and I want to mention here too that it's amazing that your husband got on the next plane.
He's a gem, and he's the caretaker in our family. If you're sick, you probably don't want me. You want him. He's the
God bless
Rob,
you, Rob.
I hope you hear that.
God bless you, Rob.
So she couldn't get on a plane. so they had to drive back. And so we got her back up here. And so now it's like...
Because you wanted her at Siteman.
We wanted her at Siteman.
Yeah.
And we wanted her home in St. Louis to begin what we thought was going to be a battle similar to my mom's.
2 years. Yeah.
And hopefully longer than that.
Correct.
But like,
correct.
Had no idea that this would unfold in the way it unfolded. And still, you know, we're 3 days into this thing when she finally gets home to St. Louis, and we don't even know exactly what's going on. We know
what
it's
kind
malignant.
of,
We know it's in her brain. We don't know
what kind.
We don't know if it's lung primary or breast primary. And so that's when we started the investigation and trying to figure out all the little pieces so that we could get her on an appropriate treatment plan.
And let's talk about here. So it's
Yes.
COVID, remember?
Yes.
So, and Kyle was diagnosed in 21. But let's keep in mind, people, the beds were all taken, right?
And you couldn't be, you couldn't, both Rob and I couldn't be with her.
Nope.
She couldn't have more than one person with her. You couldn't spend the night.
Nope.
So it was just a really hard time to be sick, particularly with
Yes.
something that was not COVID. Like everybody's was
Yep.
focused on COVID. And you were scared. You were scared of
course,
potentially
the
contracting
normal
COVID.
Correct.
So it amplified everything. So we get her back. We're trying to figure this out, and we know it's bad. I don't think we knew how bad because she looked, and this is something that I think is probably important for the audience to know. She looked good. It wasn't like you imagine somebody who has a terminal cancer diagnosis, who has at that point less than 2 weeks to live, to look sick. She did not look sick. I mean, this was a person who took care of herself, like who, you know, exercised, who, you know, was a very healthy eater. She was a vegetarian. She, like in our family, she was probably the healthiest in terms of lifestyle at that point in time. And so it was deceiving. I think it was even deceiving for the doctors.
I'm sure.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like there was just a disconnect between her sitting there and how sick she was and the fact that she was so young, she's only 38 years old, that we had such a short period of time. And so we didn't even really get to what you went through with Kyle because we were still trying to put the pieces together and get a treatment plan started. She did do some radiation to her brain. We did a couple of things, but we had 30 days. 30 days from when we got that diagnosis to her death. So we didn't even know, like we didn't even, I couldn't even really comprehend what was going on or formulate like a plan of how we're going to deal with it because it was so quick. So quick. And then we were dealing with all the lifestyle pieces of it because she had been living down in Florida and she didn't have a home in St. Louis. And we wanted her to live with us, but we only had a room for her on our second floor and she couldn't get up the stairs because she was short of breath. Like so it's all these things that you don't even think about that accompanied this devastating diagnosis.
At what point did you figure out it was lung cancer?
Oh, maybe a week before she passed away. I mean, really, I think the autopsy was what confirmed it.
Oh, my gosh.
And, I mean, that's how fast things
Progressed.
progressed. Now, I will say, if it had to end up like it did, I'm glad she didn't suffer. I remember back to her hair. I had to leave because of the COVID rules. And so I had left, and somehow in the middle of the night, she decided that she wanted to shave her head. And so when I came back, she was bald.
What a shock.
And for her, you know, particularly because her hair, I know this is like a silly thing, that her hair was like her. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
she, like as I said, she spends so much, like her hair just reflected who this beautiful blonde hair reflected, who she was as a person. And so when I saw that, I almost felt like she had given up when that happened. I don't know, like, as I now reflect back on it, like when she said, I'm done with this, done with my beautiful hair that I've spent so much time, you know, maybe that was her way of saying, I don't want to suffer like this. I don't want to go through all this. It's not.
Were you able to keep her hair?
I do have some of her hair. Okay. I know that's weird.
No, it's not weird. That's why I asked.
Yeah,
I don't think it's weird.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Melissa, I am so sorry. So then she was in the hospital the whole time?
She was in the hospital like the last 10 days.
Okay.
And again, it was this time where we were taking shifts. And that was just that piece, because it's, as we were talking about before, it's for the caretakers, it's really hard trying to be upbeat, trying to understand. Like, you were so lucky that you had that background in medical sales, because that gives you a way to understand the language and to be asking the right questions. And I think that's really important, because you do have to be an advocate for your loved one, because they aren't in a position to do that when they're so sick.
And that is an important point, to be an advocate. If you can be an advocate for yourself, be an advocate for someone else, because there is a lot going on. And you know, I think second opinions, if you have time, second opinions are important. You need to ask the hard questions. Do your own research nowadays. You know, you can do your own research, but that is a point that I do want to drive home, is that you do have to be your own advocate.
100%.
For sure.
100%. And it's confusing, even for somebody who's intelligent and sophisticated.
Yes.
This is a world that, unless you have some sort of background in it, it's not, it's different, and you got to understand it. And the internet is a great tool, but it can also lead you down some rabbit holes. I think you have to be careful.
Yeah, there's a balance.
Yeah, and how you're using that as well.
Totally.
And so then, you know, it was just, we lost her, and we're kind of in an awful place as a family.
You're shocked. That's what I was going to. How are you during all this? Losing your mother. Was it the same lung cancer? Do you even know? Same lung cancer as your mother. So there's a genetic component, which they say 10 to 15% of cancer is genetic. I think those are the numbers. And so you're in complete shock. I mean, I can't imagine what your dad's going through, what your brother's going through.
It was probably the lowest period of our whole life. I mean, I have to say, it was something that, again, you know, back to what we were first talking about, like, you don't think it's ever going to happen to you, and you certainly don't think it's ever going to happen to you twice.
No way.
And for my dad, you know, he had such a special relationship with Lindsay, like different than he had with myself and with Rob and with Matt, because she never got married. Like, they were like bosom buddies. So that was, he actually took a tumble down a flight of stairs at his house. So he was, during all this, till we're talking about this, Kira, I had kind of forgotten, he had broken his hip.
Oh my gosh.
Like during this. So he's in the hospital. This is during COVID. He's in the hospital at 90. She's in the hospital. Like, my brother's trying to take care of him, and I'm trying to take care of her, and Rob's trying to balance everything. So it's just a really awful, awful, awful time in our lives. And, you know, for the kids, I tried to let them know what was going on, even though it was really scary, because I thought it was important for them to know and understand and try to be supportive of their aunt. And that was really hard, particularly for my daughter, Lila, because they were very, very, very close, very, very, very close.
Yeah.
She kind of thought of her as her second mother. Yeah. And so it was just a difficult time. And meanwhile, I'm trying to work.
Right.
I'm like writing, like overseeing brief writing on this big case that we had, like in the midst of all this during this 30 days. Like, I have no idea how this was all happening.
Right.
And so after her death, we got involved with Pedal the Cause. We want
couple questions first.
Before
we go there, because we're going to dive deep.
Yes.
How old was Lindsay when she passed?
38.
She was 38 at diagnosis, 38 at death. When was her birthday?
December 26th. Oh, she hated that birthday too.
The day after Christmas. Oh,
she would get Lindsay, don't be mad at me, but every birthday there'd be some major calamity. She was never happy about that.
Okay,
birthday.
well, fair. I mean, the day after Christmas, Jesus' birthday. Okay, I get it.
She felt like she always got a little bit of a shaft on that day after
But
Christmas.
you guys are
birthday.
Jewish. Did you celebrate?
Yes. Well, we celebrate a little bit of both.
Okay.
But it's still like everybody was celebrating Christmas,
It makes
even
sense.
if we weren't celebrating it directly in our house.
Right. She could never have a birthday party on her birthday. She probably didn't get cards on her birthday. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
She felt like that her holiday gifts were all combined in one. This was something she did not like.
Yeah. Fair. Totally fair. Okay. And did your brother ever marry, by the way?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Okay. So at what point did you guys know she was going to pass? Did she go on hospice? How did that?
Okay. It was crazy. Like up until the last 2 days, I don't think we knew. Like nobody ever looked at us and said she has 6 weeks to live.
Nope. No one ever told me that either about Kyle.
And do you think, I don't know, is it because they're so young? Is it just hope takes over? I don't know.
And our brain, I think our brain protects ourselves. But I don't know why, or if they did say it to me, I just blacked it out and didn't believe them. But I don't remember them ever giving us a prognosis or a time. But you're right. Maybe it's because they were young and healthy and there was hope.
Yeah. And maybe they said, I like when she went into the intensive care, that's where she passed away. And she had, blood clots and all these things. That's kind of when we knew it was going to be the end. But that was 48 hours, 24 hours before it was the end. Like very much unlike, death is a hard thing to do. Like just having to
go through
it with my dad now in November. With him, they were really black and white with us.
Yeah. Well, he's 95.
He's 95, but like there was no mincing words and they had very specific recommendations. I don't feel like it was that way for my sister. And I think you hit it on the head. It's the youth. It's the hope. It's the uncertainty. We really do have drugs and therapies now that can change
extend life.
Yeah, change outcomes.
100%.
And they were hopeful. There was a drug, that Lindsay had just started that we were very hopeful about. She had done this whole brain radiation. She was doing treatments even in this short, really 2.5 week time frame by the time we kind of got all the ducks in a row, that we were hopeful about. But I didn't know that the end could be 24 hours, 48 hours.
No.
And it really changes how you see life.
No question. Absolutely. Your lens has changed. Our brains change through trauma and loss and grief. Truly actually change. Yeah. And you do. And it's interesting. I heard recently that people who have been through trauma often feel joy more than those that haven't.
Oh, that's so interesting. Why?
Right? Because we've lost. And so we look at and are grateful for what we have and the life we have and the fact that we truly deep down understand that life is a gift.
Yeah. And you really do. It's not that we don't have bad days and bad things that happen.
Of course.
But you do have a gratitude and a sense of joy and a sense of wanting to live life to its fullest. And to do things that are risky. I'm a risk-adverse person as a lawyer, very conservative in my thought processes. But I've gotten a lot of freedom, if that makes sense. Like I've given myself the freedom. So after my sister, I always loved the practice of law, but I didn't feel like that was where my heart was anymore.
Yeah.
And I love serving my clients, and I love my clients and my partners and all the things. But I wanted to have more ability to pursue things that made a difference. And not just to my clients, but really could make a difference in the lives of others, a difference in the lives of my family. And I wanted to be able to be fully engaged because I was mad at myself because in those 30 days, I was also still like juggling with my legal practice. Instead of being fully involved and invested in what was going on at home.
But you didn't really know, right?
We didn't know. I mean,
Correct.
yes, that's true. Thank you for that. But we didn't know it would only be 30 days.
Right.
And, things had to be managed professionally during that time
Correct.
period.
You can't just pull out when you're a predominant attorney like you are, which I want to say you are a very successful attorney. You had a very successful career.
Sweet.
You're well respected in the St. Louis community. But you probably were thinking, and maybe not, I'm putting words in your mouth, but okay, let's get through this trial, and then I can focus on this.
100%. You had to get, my clients were the most important to me outside my family.
Correct.
And making sure that whatever I and the team was doing for them, that it was done at 150% and that we won.
Because that's who you are.
And and so that mentality was carrying me through on the work side. But after losing Lindsay, it made me reevaluate that. And so I actually retired. Took me a couple years
for you.
From the practice of law.
Congratulations.
Really as a direct result of thinking about what I value after the loss of my sister. And it's been such a gift to have this time to devote to things that I'm passionate about and that can help others, having more time to be with my family. And
Also,
it's just
a huge gift.
It's really, really been a gift on so many different levels. But I think after, like in the immediate aftermath, I didn't know which way to go. I don't know if you felt like that, Kira. You just don't even, you have no.
You're in shock.
Yes, that's the right word.
In
shock.
survival mode and in disbelief. I mean, it's absolute, that first year, you're just like, what just happened?
You're just going through the motions.
Yes. You're surviving. Yes, 100%.
And so that was us. But similar to you, I think we had young kids. It wasn't their dad, but it was their aunt. And so we wanted to find a way that we could channel all this loss and devastation into something that was positive. And that may not bring Lindsay back, but could make an impact on the lives of others.
And keep her legacy alive.
Keep her legacy alive and keep her name alive. And that's when we found Pedal the Cause.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about it now. So we're so excited. This is it's a big part of our lives and a big part of St. Louis. And we're in the thick of it right now.
We are.
So tell us how you found it, what you've done, all the things.
And so we were really looking for a way to support cancer research. And the kids, Sawyer and Lila, and they were young. I mean, this is 4 years ago now. They were still young.
How old were they?
Let me think about this, do my math.
Well, how old are they now?
Lila was 11.
Okay. I'm like, well, how are they now? We can backtrack.
Lila was 11, and I guess Sawyer was 14.
Okay, there you go.
Oh,
Easy
so
peasy.
they weren't elementary age, but they wanted to be a part of this tale, and they wanted to honor their aunt's legacy. And they were also, during COVID, Sawyer was going to be bar mitzvahed.
Okay.
And he was going to do it in Israel. But because of COVID, the world shut down.
Right.
And he could not be bar mitzvahed in Israel. And so we had delayed his bar mitzvah. And then Lila was coming up to the age where she could be bat mitzvahed. And so they decided that they were going to do it together.
Oh, I love that.
And
can you give us a brief? I don't know what bar mitzvah and
so it's like a coming of age
Okay.
in Judaism.
Okay.
And there's a ceremony, and the bar bat mitzvah, it partakes in it. And it used to be, that's really when you become an adult in the Jewish religion.
So is it a certain age, and it's a bat mitzvah?
13. It's 13.
Okay.
And it's a bat mitzvah for a girl and a bar mitzvah for a boy. And they had a b'nai mitzvah.
Okay.
Because they did it together,
which
is something that I learned through the process.
Yeah.
And so initially, when we were talking about this, Lindsay was alive and was going to be helping them with you do a project as part of your bat mitzvah. And she was going to help spearhead the project with them.
What kind of project?
Usually a service project.
Love that.
But it really has to come from the kids' hearts. And so they work with an adult to do whatever project. And so Lindsay was going to spearhead this with them. She was really creative, too. I didn't mention that. She just had a special way about how she designed things and put things together. So the three of them were going to do it together, and then we don't have Lindsay. And they're like, what are we going to do?
And this is 2020.
This is 2020. And so that's when the idea of raising money for cancer research really came into play, and when we connected with Pedal the Cause. And it was really spearheaded in part by the kids.
I love that.
And so we created a team. They created a team called Merlin's Magic Riders. And it was to honor their aunt. And so off we went to the races, as I say, raising money.
So 2021 was your first year?
2021 was our first year.
Okay.
And then parallel to that, I think I mentioned that my dad really wanted a way to honor Lindsay as well. And she loved to spin. I told you about Soul Cycle. Yeah. That was our absolute favorite.
Yeah.
And during Pedal Ride Weekend, they have a spin zone.
They do.
And what's so amazing about it is if you're not a road bike person like myself, you can come to Pedal Weekend and you can spin. And you don't have to bring anything, just yourselves. No bike, no shoes, no nothing. Just come, show up, have so much fun in this spin zone.
Yeah.
Do a little... I mean, Kira has been an instructor for years. Amazing instructor. And it's just so fun and joyous. Yes. And it's easy.
Yes. And you can go as hard or as not. I mean, just getting on the bike and the celebration and the memory of whomever. It's super fun. Like the vibe is amazing.
The vibe is awesome. Yeah. In fact, there's a new pedal video. Have you seen this?
Not
like
yet.
a new little snippet to encourage people to come ride. And they have some footage from the spin zone, and there's also a spin zone video. Maybe we could post it.
Yeah,
that'd be fun. But anyway, you can see the joy and energy. There's some great footage of you, of course.
Is there?
Yeah, it's so cute.
Okay.
You'll have to see it.
Oh, look. Okay.
But it's great energy. You're supporting Pedal the Cause. You're supporting cancer research in St. Louis. Even if you aren't a road warrior. We love the road warriors who can ride 100 miles. That's just
100 miles, 50 miles, 25 miles, however many miles. Yeah.
I'm not one of them. So this is a nice alternative for those who...
Yes. Those of us who don't.
Yes.
Right. And you got... Okay, so let's talk about... It was your dad's idea, right?
Yes.
So what did you do with... Was it... Go ahead.
Yeah, what did we do? Well, we connected with David Dreyer and Pam Mandelker at Pedal, and we developed this. There was already a spin zone, but really the concept of Lindsay's spin zone, having an annual Lindsay spin zone, came out of that relationship and partnership. And so I think the first year may have been 2022. So we're going to be on our fourth year of having Lindsay's spin zone and her energy and Kira's energy that just it's awesome and amazing.
I love that. I feel like Lindsay and I are connected. Like she's living through me almost. I don't know, just like because spin is so important to me, and it has been for a really long time.
You would be bosom buddies. Like you all
would
be thick as thieves.
I know.
Truly.
So what year was she born?
She's born in 1981.
Okay.
Are you younger?
Yeah, I'm 84. Oh my goodness. I know.
So
I'm like,
young.
Wouldn't it be crazy if it was the same? So what day did she pass? What was her?
November 30th.
Okay, because my birthday's November 11th. I was just checking to see if there was a God wink there.
Yeah.
Amazing. So Lindsay's Spin Zone, you guys have sponsored since 2022. How much? And Merlin, what is your maiden name?
Merlin's my married name. My maiden name is Marglis.
Okay, but her last name wasn't Merlin.
It was Marglis.
Marglis. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. But your children's last name is Merlin, obviously.
Yes.
Okay. And so how much have you guys raised? And I want to talk about what your children just did, what they accomplished. How much have you guys raised over the last 4 years? Or 3 years, I guess.
So I think we're almost at $200,000 and primarily driven by the kids. We have a family and friends team. The kids have been podium winners.
Which is?
$25,000 or more annually since they started.
And they're the youngest.
And Lila's now, I think, the youngest this year.
Yeah.
And so it's
youngest podium award winner.
They're younger. There's a whole kids challenge.
Yes.
Which is so fun
yes.
for younger kids, elementary age kids.
Any age. They can ride scooters. They can ride bikes. They could walk if they wanted. It's so fun.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
And so there's a way for kids to be engaged with pedal, which is just extraordinary because I really think when something becomes a family affair, it's more meaningful.
And then when you're part of a pedal family, it's like you have this whole another community where everyone's connected because we're all working towards the same thing.
I love it. You said that so beautifully.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Truly, and pedal is one big family.
We literally say pedal family. And for our children and your children, for them to know that they're working towards and helping someone else, like the gift we can give to our children, for them to be able to kind of get out of themselves, because we're all, children think about themselves. That's all they know, right? But for them at an early age to learn that like we're all in this together and to be able to help someone else, I think is a gift that will be with them for their lifetime.
Agreed. It's extraordinary. And I'm talking to the master of this, I think it's a gift to be able to know how to raise money. Because whatever you do in life, whether you're raising money for a philanthropy, whether you're a doctor and need to have resources to fund your lab.
Which I think is ridiculous that doctors have to go.
It's so ridiculous. It's just unfortunately the way of the world right now. Pedal is helping to combat that.
Yes.
In that the pedal dollars, and I think this is also extraordinary, 100% of every dollar raised by Pedal the Cause through the ride goes directly to fund cancer research. None of it goes to, pay salaries, overhead expenses. That is all separately funded. And I think that is really, really unique in the philanthropic world.
Absolutely.
That when you're donating $1 or raising $1 for Pedal, you know that that's going directly to fund cutting edge research, clinical trials that are taking place in St. Louis and helping more than hundreds, more than thousands. I mean, it's just incredible.
We can't even put a number on it. Incitement is one of the leading, Incitement Kids, they're one of the leading cancer research hospitals in our country.
In St. Louis, in our hometown. And I don't think a lot of people know that. And I don't know if everybody knows the trajectory that they have been on in terms of how respected they are in the country. And how we are now one of the places that you come to get treatment.
Along with, Incitement is in so Sloan Kettering and Mayo and Incitement, like it's in the running. Like it's in when people say, oh, I'm going to go to Sloan Kettering. Oh, I'm going to go to Incitement. It's one of the best.
Yes.
And so the reason Pedal is so unique is because we're, I think we're in our 17th year, 16th or 17th?
Because we just did our 15th, right?
Yeah. So I know, because I have a bunch of I have a bunch of promotional stuff that says 15. I think that was from 2 years ago. So anyway, it's 16, 17, 18, however many years. It's unique because our community, St. Louis, has rallied behind this organization, and lots of companies are sponsoring and supporting the organization so we can give every last dollar that's fundraised right into the hands of the doctors that are doing the most promising research, right?
It's again just extraordinary in how this model operates and the fact that this is really changing outcomes. The other statistic is that for every pedal dollar, it's being multiplied 12, 13, 14 times because of the additional funding that can come to Siteman, to St. Louis Children's, once these research projects get to a certain threshold. Because the most difficult part of these studies and clinical trials is getting them off the ground to prove that it's a viable idea that's deserving of NIH funding and other funding.
Right.
And so those are the dollars that are hardest to get, as
100%.
I understand it,
Yep.
as a researcher, investigator. And that's the role that PEDAL's playing, is allowing these ideas by these brilliant doctors that really have been recruited from around the country to come here to live and work in St. Louis, allowing them a platform to get these ideas off the ground, prove that they're viable, and then get this additional funding.
Yes. And I do want to say here, there are a lot of labs around the country that have really promising things happening, right, in cancer. Like, dare I say, some cures out there. What we need is funding. And I'm going to just be verbal about this. I always have been. I always will be. Our government is the number one funder of cancer research. It's less than 1% of their budget. Okay. The NIH is the one that distributes the money. Doctors have to write grant proposals, spend time not in the lab, not seeing patients, writing grant proposals, submitting it to the government, to this organization, to that organization, to that organization, not to fund their whole trial, but just a little bit to keep going, right? And so that's why private funding is so important, right? And as we mentioned earlier, one in two people will be affected personally by cancer in their lifetime, okay? So it's, if everybody can give a little bit, right? If everybody can give a little bit, we can move mountains. Really, we can. Okay.
So well said.
And all of it's a write-off, right? You can write it off on your taxes.
Yeah.
This is really important. Donor advised funds. People that have donor advised funds, you can use your donor advised funds. And like Lindsay said, you give $100, it turns into $1,400, because what PEDAL does is all the money goes into a big bucket, and then they look at the various studies happening at Siteman, and they pick the most promising studies, and we ground them at the seed level. So fun fact, Kyle's study, my husband, had a study that had never been in pancreatic cancer patients. Dr. Keon Lim is his oncologist. PEDAL helped fund that idea initially.
It's incredible.
Right? When I learned that, I was like, I'm sorry, what?
It's a God wink.
It's a God wink. So that money helped bring to light Kyle's treatment that's now in like 40 other patients right now, and completely eradicating the cancer in about half of them. Pancreatic cancer patients, stomach cancer, colorectal cancer patients. From what I hear, who knows where this is going to go, right? God willing.
Yeah.
So the point is that this matters. Your dollars do matter. And if everybody can give a little bit, and listen, there are a lot of people with a lot of money all over our country, right? Like, there's more billionaires now in Silicon Valley, like a 1,000 within. It's crazy. I was doing the research. But here in St. Louis, there's a lot of money, right? And if everybody can give a little bit, researching, I've been praying and thinking about tithing, and I've mentioned this, in the Bible, whether you're a Christian, you believe in the Bible, what have you. But generally speaking, a lot of people reserve 10% of their salary to give to church or charitable organizations. And so my argument and my ask is that PEDAL, cancer research funding, whatever, if you want to pick a cancer like pancreatic cancer, one specific cancer, find a promising researcher and help fund their lab, right?
That's amazing. And I do think that another special part of this community is we have such a philanthropy is like built into our DNA here.
In St. Louis, for sure.
In St. Louis.
Yes.
And I think you're right that, of course, the big dollars matter. Of course they do.
Yes.
But little dollars add up.
Every single dollar counts.
Very quickly. My daughter is a field hockey player.
Yeah.
And she had connected with this wonderful woman, Allison Keefe, who has started this platform called the Field Hockey Analyst that now has tens of thousands of followers. So she asked Allison, would you mind if I put a slide and an ask on your Instagram account to raise dollars for Petal.
I love
She said, I'm only going to ask for $10 per donor. And Allison was gracious enough to put it up. And those dollars float $10 at a time. Flowed in and helped her meet that $25,000 mark. So every little bit matters. It's our It's our collective action together.
Yes, and how I think of, like, we're blessed with whatever you're blessed with, whatever amount of money you're blessed with. Like, I believe God, the reason He's blessed you with those funds is to have a happy, healthy life, right? But to help others. We're all connected. Right? So giving to other people, God's people, right, I think it's really important. And again, every dollar amount counts. And if you have a lot of money, right, like if you have a lot, like you're probably not even ever going to be able to spend in your lifetime. Like, what a way to have leave a legacy beyond 100%. You. Right? Because you know that money, and obviously we're huge Petal fans and we've been affected by cancer, but any disease that you pick, right, it's so important to help get these groundbreaking studies off the ground, because if we can get them into 30 and 40 patients, whatever the number is, right? A phase 1 study is 50 to 60 patients ish. Then you can get it to the NIH and you get the attention because you have the data.
And you need that data. I mean, that again is the most difficult part, is getting it to that stage to be eligible for the NIH funding.
Correct. And by the way, back when Kyle was battling, so he started in 2021. 1 in 10 grants by the NIH was then awarded. Okay, so and they only look at grants 3 times a year. Now it's 1 in 20.
I mean, it's been devastating what's going on, and all the more reason to donate these dollars now, because they're not available from the federal government.
It's not looking like it's right.
It's devastating, and really I don't know if there's going to be change in the future. Hopefully,
well, yeah, hopefully we can. But let's remember that we can move mountains. We don't have to rely on the government. We can do this.
We absolutely can do it.
And to leave your legacy and to help change the lives of so many others, and then think about the generations to come that will benefit, right, from you giving some of your income to promising research.
That's exactly right. And it's quicker than that. Like, what is so surprising to me now, another really amazing thing that Petal does is it brings in researchers to come educate us and tell us a little bit about what they're doing in their labs and how it's impacting lives now.
I mean, it's
and so you
touching.
Don't even have to wait. I mean, you just told us about the clinical trial that Kyle was really patient one for, and how it's so impactful in changing outcomes now. There are research studies that are going on that will impact generations to come, but there are studies that are going on right now that will impact right now, have immediate impact and change lives today and tomorrow. And hopefully if your loved one or yourself gets a devastating diagnosis like Kyle did or Lindsay did,
right,
that they'll have a different outcome because of what's going on in the lab. Right. And that's what Petal is all about.
And I know, I joke with David. So Petal's raised just over $5 million the last couple of years. I don't know what the total is that they've raised.
Oh, but he's going to be mad that I can't say
I know,
me
too. I
want to say 60 million?
I was going to say between 50 and 60 million over the last 15, 16, 17 years, which is amazing. And it has moved mountains. But I told David, I'm like, let's go for 6 million this year. There's zero reason here in St. Louis that we should be hovering around 5 million. And people will be like, really, Kira? But really?
Really?
I don't know how many people are in St. Louis, but if we could tally up and like even the top 20%, the top 30%, whatever gives a small amount, think about.
It's impactful. And the impact and
now.
We saw this with the field hockey analysts is
Yes.
little amounts collectively makes a big impact. And I think that's what we're asking, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
We're
Those of
asking
you
your
that
audience.
have a ton of discretionary income, those of you that are in the top echelon, please, yes, please donate. And some people are like, I'm confused, Kira. Do you want me to donate to Pedal the Cause, Team Kyle, or the Kyle Andersen Fund? And I'm asking you to think about what you're passionate about, right? If you want to move the mountain on pancreatic cancer today, yes, please donate to the Kyle Andersen Fund. We are currently raising $1 million. We've raised over $2.5 million at this point, and in Kyle's name. And those of we do have some close family and friends that are now on board and have lost their husbands or are currently battling. So it's pancreatic cancer in general. We're moving the mountains, right? But join Team Kyle. What is your team has a new name, right?
It's now Caroline and Lila. Sorry, I didn't mention this before. It's Pedal to the Metal.
Pedal to the Metals.
So,
okay.
I'm remiss that I didn't say this before. So Sawyer went off to college. These kids leave you eventually. Yours are too little yet, but they eventually leave you and go off to college. So he's off at Cornell. And so
you guys, Ivy League, hello.
One of Lila's closest friends also lost her grandfather to cancer. And so they teamed up and they took over Merlin's Magic Riders, but they made it their own. It's called Pedal to the Metal now.
Yeah, I love it.
So we'd love for you to join Team Pedal to the Metal.
Yes.
But really, any donation, no matter what, if it's going to the fund for Kyle, if it's going directly to Pedal, if it's going to one of these teams, it doesn't really matter as long as the donation is going
It's all go to the same place.
Yes.
And you guys have a foundation too.
We have my dad set up a family foundation. It's the Ray B. Margulis Family Foundation.
Okay.
And so that is kind of the mechanism that we use to sponsor Lindsay's Spin Zone.
I love it. And a couple other things, because I know we're running out of time. So again, every dollar matters, right? It's a tax write-off. Gosh, I just lost my train of thought. It'll come back to me. But ways to get involved with Pedal. Okay. So you can join our teams, right? So Team Kyle or Pedal to the Metals or any of the other teams that you find if there's a specific cancer you want to help raise money for, which by the way, Pedal money all goes into a big bucket, and then they fund the most promising research in whatever cancer, whatever study is most viable.
That's exactly right.
So it could be brain cancer. It could be, lung cancer.
Yes.
It could be blood, So it's a big bucket. So if you want to donate to cancer, generally speaking, the most promising research, which sometimes they find it works for lung cancer, but it also works for brain cancer.
Absolutely. That's something I didn't know that I've learned.
Skin cancer.
Yes.
Right. So pick what you're passionate about and help and give a little, right? Doesn't have to be a ton, although we would love a ton, just a little. So you can join our team, meaning you ride. So kids have no minimum fundraising amount, right?
Exactly.
They can sign up and they don't have to raise anything, or they can raise however much. Adults do have a $375 minimum to raise.
Correct.
So you can ride your bike, you can ride the Spin Zone, you can walk, you can hike, anywhere. You could be in Montana, you can be in New York, and virtually ride with us, right? If you want. And then you can fundraise and send it to your network and tell your network why you're raising funds for Siteman Cancer Center. And something I want to mention here too is, yes, there's a lot of organizations. This is a huge philanthropy town, but you know where your money's going here. It's going directly into these studies. It's making an impact today. And so just keep that in mind when you go to distribute your charitable funds. All these other organizations are amazing. Obviously, we're huge advocates of Pedal the Cause for many reasons, but that is my ask to you is to think about the fact that your money is going right here in St. Louis into people's bodies, literally as we speak. You can see what your dollars are doing.
Absolutely.
And then also, by the way, the stuff that happens at Siteman, then they send it to Sloan Kettering, and so we're sharing information.
There's a very collaborative approach in the medical community.
And now with AI, Dr. Lim was just on, and he was saying how incredible AI is now connecting in the communication, and they'll be able to collaborate a lot easier. So
cool.
There's amazing things happening, and we got to band together, right? Join hands, join arms, link arms, and move forward together,
100%.
Right? To make a difference in the lives of others. So you can join our team and raise funds, or you can just donate directly. If you're like, I don't want to bike, I'm busy that weekend, I just want to donate, please do.
we would be so grateful.
Yeah.
Yes. And you can also volunteer.
Yeah. That's what I said. You can volunteer. You can create your own team. There's lots of things you can do.
There's a lot of ways to get involved.
Yeah, you can donate to the Champions Circle, which I know you're a part of.
The Champions Circle, when we talked about the 100% model, the fact that every single dollar raised goes directly to the researchers at Siteman and also St. Louis Children's Hospital, the Champions Circle allows that to happen. Because it really is a group of like-minded individuals who believe in the cause, and they give, I think, starting now at the $2,500 level.
Yes.
And those dollars help underwrite the overhead, but also they fuel the match money.
Yes.
Which is huge, because what happens, and maybe I shouldn't give too much away, but at least once during the fundraising season leading up to Pedal Ride Weekend, there's a match. And so any dollar donated is then matched. And so that fuels even more donations, more money, all the things. And so the Champion Circle really helps make that possible. So being part of it is cool. There are different events where, we get to be together as a group, oftentimes hearing from these researchers that we've been talking about, like Dr. Lim.
Yes, and your company can sponsor. There's just lots of opportunities. You can reach out to any of us that are a part of the Pedal family. And David, who's now the CEO and president, he lost his daughter to brain cancer. So it's near and dear to everyone's hearts that's involved. So, come join us. Join the Pedal family, no matter where you are. We'd love to have you. Melissa, I want to thank you for coming on today and sharing all that you shared and being vulnerable and all that you're doing in the community now, in your sister and your mother's, name, to make a difference.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Yeah. This was so fun to get to talk to you. Yeah. And I would echo the same thing to you, Kira. You are literally an inspiration, and you've taken all this pain and you've turned it into something that is inspiring, that's making a difference, and that you should be proud of, and your children, and what a legacy for Kyle.
Thank you. And that's the goal, right? To keep his name alive. And again, we sacrificed our family members, but in hopes that we can change the lives of others. Absolutely. Right, moving forward. And that's kind of the name of the game, right?
It is.
So one last thing, I always ask my guests if they have one thing you want our viewers to take away from this conversation, what would it be?
I would say that each one of us can make a difference. And you can do it, you can make that difference in a way that fits you and is most meaningful to you. We talked about a number of different ways. But I hope that your viewers have learned a little bit about Pedal the Cause and how it's impacted this community and changed outcomes and continuing to change outcomes for family members and friends and individuals that have that horrible diagnosis that is forever life-changing. But
thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Gosh, we could talk forever.
And we could talk forever.
I know.
Why is this over?
I know, right? Sorry, Josh. Josh was like, okay, I think viewers have stopped listening now.
Oh my goodness, it's 11:39.
Yeah, I know. Goodness. So thank you to all of those who are listening, watching, will watch and listen. Please, like I said, think about, pray about, donate even just a little bit. Maybe send this podcast or information about Pedal to others whom you may think feel called and want to help as well. So again, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being here, Melissa. We'll be back next week, Tuesday, 10 a.m. The Yes We Can podcast. You can count us being on air. Thank you again for listening, and we'll see y'all soon.
What if you could start your day feeling loose, relaxed, and ready? Deep hydrotherapy right in your backyard. Relax with your family or friends, or work out with our Michael Phelps Edition Swim Spas. Worried about maintenance? We have factory-trained service nearby whenever you need it. Plus, we're here for you long-term if you have any questions or need to refill supplies. You can even test spas at our showrooms. spas, and more. A+ rated, locally owned for 20 years. We put the in spa.